Hey everybody, this is Kevin with Leading Edge Financial Planning, tax season survivor. Once again, glad to be here. Glad to talk to you about LLCs. It's really quite interesting to me that there's, something called correlation versus causation. People talk about that a lot in medical studies and other types of statistical evidence. With LLCs, I think it's correlation. I don't think LLCs cause what people think they cause. And what I mean by that is positive outcomes. So if wealthy people have LLCs and wealthy people have trusts, one could say that all I need to do is to get a LLC and a trust and I'll be rich too. But that's the correlation part. Yes, they have them. Why do they have them? Well, many times with LLCs, it's because they own a business, or they've owned a business for a long period of time, or they've owned real estate, which they need asset protection with. So there is a belief out there by some that an LLC will allow you to get rich. It'll cause you to get rich. Not true. And I'll come back to that in a second. But the other belief is that an LLC will allow you to save on taxes. Probably, I'd say probably once a week, somebody will tell us, a client, educated people will say, hey, I just flew with somebody and they said I need to get an LLC. And we say, oh, okay, how come? And that is the question we should always ask when someone tells us, hey, if you want to get rich, if you want to save on taxes, you need to get one of these. The next question should be, why? How is it going to help me? And so I think what people are really saying is that we're earning a high income. Okay, we're earning a high income from our work. It's being slapped upside the head with taxation, and that part, hey, you had me at a low there because that part is absolutely the case. We're also blessed the fact that we can make a high income because really there's only a few ways to become wealthy. Number one is to inherit it. Number two is to marry into it. Number three is to steal it. Number four is to earn it. And I don't know, there's probably other ways as well. But how does an LLC help with any of those? Let's talk about that. So you have an LLC and somehow you can save on taxes. This is the first one that I think is important. People think, oh, I can save on taxes. An LLC is a legal entity. It is not a tax entity. It's not a tax shield, I should say. It's not a tax shield. It's a legal shield. So it protects us. If we have a business over here, let's say that we have the idea of a belt buckle company. Okay, so I create a belt buckle company. I have the greatest technology. It's such a great thing. I sell 1 million of them. And the name of my belt buckle company is Joe Belt Buckle. Belt Buckle is the name of my company. I sell 1 million of them. I make money because of that. Now, if I'm flying the line and making income there, I'm going to pay ordinary income tax on that. I make the belt buckles. Guess what? My taxes actually go up because again, I made something, I'm selling it. Unless I get paid in cash under the table, not suggesting that, I'm going to have to pay tax on that money as well. I can take all my expenses that are legitimate to make the belt buckles. But so let's say I have 1 million of them. Instead of doing that, let's say I start with creating an LLC. Okay, I create the LLC and then I make 1 million of the belt buckles and sell them. There's absolutely no difference. Now, if somebody were to slip and fall and my belt buckle technology kills them because it has a bunch of spikes on them, that's part of the allure of it. But guess what? When you slip and fall on something with spikes, you die. And so now my Joe Belt Buckle company gets sued, but so do I. I have no legal shield there. Probably I'm still going to have attorneys that are going to fight and say, yo, I have a legal shield. This is its own business. I've been, filing it as a Schedule C on my tax return. But the LLC, will absolutely say that, this is a separate entity. So having the LLC does protect me from assets. But how did it just help me make more money? Well, if I have an LLC that's taxed as an S corporation, then maybe I pay a little less self-employment tax, but it's not a game changer. It's not a game changer. So there's really no wealth building idea here with the LLC. It doesn't help you to build wealth. Now, maybe I form an LLC to save taxes. Now, let's see how that goes. Okay, this is idea number 2. I'm going to make belt buckles for pilots. I have the greatest idea ever, and I produce a bunch of them and I sell none. Okay, so I lose thousands of dollars. Did the LLC help me in any way? Okay, so I put them on my tax return. The IRS says, you're an idiot, but you lost a bunch of money. It's legitimate. You did everything right. Having the LLC gives me maybe a little bit more that I actually went to the trouble to create this LLC, but really it's a disregarded entity. That's what it's called for. The IRS calls it a disregarded entity for tax. Disregarded, not regarded, doesn't matter. Again, maybe the IRS agent will say, well, you went to the trouble to create an LLC. I guess you were serious about it. But if I lose like $1 million with belt buckles, number one, I had to lose the $1 million. That's not going to be really great for my family. My family is not. I'm going to say, look, honey, I saved on all these taxes. My spouse is going to say, you lost $1 million. That's not good. But second of all, the IRS they hate when you lose money. And so if you lose money year after year in a side hustle, in a side business, you can save on taxes. You got to lose the money, number one. But number two, eventually they're going to audit and say, hey, you're losing a bunch of money over here. Let's say it was a race car. You bought a race car to drive and make YouTube videos driving your race car. They're going to say, we think that this is personal. We think you enjoy driving the race car. And so we're going to disallow all of this. And then you have to prove that, no, it's actually a legitimate business. The LLC still doesn't help with that. So this whole idea of getting an LLC to offset your flying income with a regular company, it just doesn't jive, I should say. Come up with the idea first. Don't come up with the LLC first. So the one area I will say that, again, it does make a significant amount of sense to me is if you want to use a tax preferenced item of real estate or other tax preferenced items, and you want to separate the real estate from you personally, that you're going to have that business or that building or whatever in an LLC, because again, it separates you from that property if something bad happens. That is good. But what is the real estate? Why do you maybe save on taxes? What's the tax preference? The tax preference is the real estate, which if that's something you really want to do, I wouldn't do real estate just to save on taxes either. Let's say you make $15,000 with one rental unit. You have a depreciation shield that will offset part of that income. It still doesn't rise over here to the level of we lost a bunch of money in real estate and we want to save on our flying income. It still doesn't work. So just remember this: when someone tells you, the next person you fly with or whatever, that says, hey, you should think about getting an LLC, a business, losing money, etc., say, how does that help my economic welfare? Just losing $1 to save 37% tax is never a winning strategy for the long term. So anyway, come up with the ideas, come up with ways to make more money. Let's all bitch and complain together about how much tax you have to pay because you're just getting wealthier and wealthier. And then we can put the money into places that are treated better than the ordinary income. I think that's the key, is that we do have a lot of control over when we build the wealth. We're able to keep our money in places that are less taxed than the ordinary income. So anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Appreciate you. Any comments or questions that you have, please let us know. Thanks so much.
Leading Edge Financial Planning, LLC is a registered investment advisor. Advisory services are only offered to clients or prospective clients where Leading Edge Financial Planning and its representatives are properly licensed or exempt from licensure. For additional information, please visit our website at www.leadingedgeplanning.com. The information provided is for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice, and it should not be relied on as such. It should not be considered a solicitation to buy or an offer to sell a security. It does not take into account any investor's particular investment objectives, strategies, tax status, or investment horizon. You should consult your attorney or tax advisor. The views expressed in this commentary are subject to change based on market and other conditions. These documents may contain certain statements that may be deemed forward-looking statements. Please note that any such statements are not guarantees of any future performance, and actual results or developments may differ materially from those projected. Any projections, market outlooks, or estimates are based upon certain assumptions and should not be construed as indicative of actual events that will occur. All information has been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but its accuracy is not guaranteed. There is no representation or warranty as to the current accuracy, reliability, or completeness of, nor liability for, decisions based on such information, and it should not be relied on as such.